In the history of even the most secure prisons, there are a couple of famous escapes. Wishing to see some freedom at last, the prisoners weren't deterred by hundreds of meters of barbed wire or thick walls, or even the constant presence of security guards. There are quite a few ways to do it, but what you almost always need is an ally. So, here are the 5 most astonishing prison breaks. Let's get it on. 5. John Dillinger was a famous bank robber, and oddly enough, he was very popular amongst the citizens. During the Great Depression, he managed, along with his crew, to get a grip on about $1 million. In 1934, Dillinger got in jail for murdering a policeman, but didn't linger in there for long. The resourceful gangster cut a gun-shaped piece of a wooden washboard and painted it with shoe polish. Then he pointed his weapon to the head of one of the guards, and holding him as a hostage, Dillinger left the prison. A few months later, he went with his girlfriend to the premiere of the Manhattan melodrama. FBI agents were waiting for them outside the cinema. They shot him in the back 3 times. Dillinger died on his way to the hospital. 4. In 1962, American businessman Joel David Kaplan was convicted of killing his business partner. He denied everything to the utmost, but the Mexican court was inexorable, and Kaplan was sentenced to 28 years in prison. But his inventive sister came up with a 10-second prison break plan. A Bell 47 helicopter, driven by a Vietnam veteran and painted like a police copter, landed in the yard of the Santa Marta Acatitla prison. Accompanied by his mate, Venezuelan counterfeiter Carlos Castro, he got on the helicopter and set off. Bribed, or maybe just astonished, the security guards didn't dare to open fire. The audacious break became world famous and is now known as the jailbreak of the century. 3. On the night of June 11, 1962, 3 Alcatraz inmates escaped the famous prison, being this the one and only time in history. Frank Morrison brothers Clarence and John Anglin were convicted to more than 10 years for bank robbery. For months, they used metal spoons to scratch the concrete wall, opening a small way to a power line corridor. Once inside, they got up to the roof, went down the drains, and climbed over the fence. In order to leave the island, the 3 outlaws previously had made some sort of rubber raft with the raincoats that were distributed to the prisoners. Also, they made sculpted dummy heads from a homemade papier-mâché-like mixture of soap and toilet paper, and placed them on their beds to lull the security guards. Before them, no one had escaped the Alcatraz prison alive, so the authorities claimed that the escapees drowned while trying to escape. The bodies were never found, so history is silent on this matter. 2. Nicknamed the King of Escape, Michel Vajour spent 27 years behind bars, 17 of them in solitary confinement. He managed to escape 5 times, using every opportunity the guards gave him, when they overlooked something or forgot to close the door properly. While he served his 18 years for armed robbery and murder attempt, his loving wife and accomplice, Nadine, learned how to drive a helicopter, took a lease on one, and went to rescue her husband. First, she threw him a gun and a rope, which he used to climb up the wall, and then he grabbed the copter beam and flew away. But later that year, he got shot in the head and fell into a coma. Once he got better, police put him back in prison, and Vajour stayed there until 2003, when his term was finally over. 1. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman is the leader of the Sinaloa cartel, a criminal gang spread all over the world. Speaking of the scale of operation and earnings, Guzman is way ahead of the most famous criminals of the last decades. According to some estimates, his fortune exceeds the $1 billion mark. Puente Grande prison in Mexico, where El Chapo was held, had the best security system in the country. There was absolutely no way to escape the penitentiary, except by bribing each and every member of the staff, including the prison governor. So it was made, and El Chapo was at large for 13 years. He was very careful, moving all the time and changing apartments, but still, in spite of all the measures, in 2014 he was caught again and sent to the maximum security prison Altiplano. However, after a year, he ran away again, and under his cell was found a huge 1-mile-long tunnel. In January, he was arrested for the 3rd time, and now he's again in one of the most secure prisons of Mexico, with an increased level of secrecy. But who knows what is still to come.
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks, and we'll be right back to you as fast as we can.